Welcome to ADTV, and today you catch up with us at Homersfield Lakes, and we're joined today by Phil Spinks, who's going to be talking us through some gravel pit bream fishing. Now, the first question I want to pick your brains with, Phil, is I know there's a lot of details goes into when you're perhaps carp fishing and tench fishing of the areas. So if you were bream fishing like that today, what are you looking for? Where are you looking to fish?
I've always found on these bigger gravel pits that the bream like the deep, gravelly, open areas. You don't often catch bream in the margins. You'll get the odd one, but a rule of thumb is they're out in the open water. They don't like weed very much. So a nice clean, ideally if you can find a gravel bar in deep open water, the bream love it.
No, of course, so it's actually worth spending a bit of time trying to find a spot than perhaps the approach that a lot of people do would just put the bait in and wait for them to come to you. It's definitely worth spending a bit of time.
And it can be the difference between catching 1 or 2 bream and perhaps getting 20 bream is finding the spot they like feeding on.
Exactly. And then next thing I want to mention to you, because there's obviously a few different ways you can fish for bream, obviously on the flow, a lot of people feed a fish for them, but it's a big bit of water here, I've not seen it before, and you've chosen to fish the alarm sort of style, perhaps step down sort of carp specimen style, should we say. Is there a reason for that? Or?
Because quite often a lot of this fishing is long range,
right.
And so with the gear we've got here we can fish 50, 60, 70 yards if we need to reach the spots where the bream are. Sometimes on these big pits you can go a long while between bites as well. You're building a swim up waiting for bites, and if you were staring at a quiver tip or a float,
a bit easy on the eye.
you're going to end up finally getting a bite and missing it or something. it's for this style of fishing, like you said, it's like scaled down carp fishing. You're going through the same motions as a carp angler, but just fishing a little bit more scaled down for the bream.
That's probably your approach on a bigger sort of water like this then.
Yeah.
And then rig wise on that, so I've seen today you chucking out some little method feeders, is that correct?
Yeah, the little flat method feeders. A lot of people use them for match fishing on commercial lakes, but I use them for a lot of my specimen fishing. They're so neat and tidy. They don't tangle because your hook bait is in with the ground bait. They cast like bullets, so you can cast them long range. There's just a real neat way of presenting your bait.
I must admit, I think they should be used for so much more other types of fishing than they are just like the match fishing. Even the carp fishing, I think they should get into that. And you're doing everything really neat, Phil. So I've noticed you're putting a little bit of bait through a spod over the top of your rods that you're fishing. So that's clipped up, and then your fishing rod's clipped up as well. So you're trying to concentrate it all into one particular area,
Yeah, my rule of thumb is I always try and fish on an area about the size of a snooker table. When I first turn up, on this lake I'll probably put 15 spoms of bait out straight away, and then keep steadily recasting your feeders. In this lake, because of the volume of fishing here, if you don't recast your feeders say every 15 minutes, the roach and the smaller fish will eat all the ground bait off your feeder, and you'll just be fishing a single hook bait. And if you stop getting line bites and you haven't had a bite for a while, top the swim up with a spot now and again.
I guess you adapt that to how many fish. There's a lot of fishing here, so you put quite a lot of bait in.
It's all relevant to where you're fishing. I mean, down here there's so many roach, bream, carp, everything. It can be a very hungry water at times.
And then the last thing I'll touch on before I let you get fishing again is I was quite surprised when I got down here. You were spodding out some boilies, pellets, quite big pellets, corn. Why have you chosen to use that rather than sort of like the natural?
I suppose I'm trying to use roach-proof baits down here because there's a lot of roach in the lake, and any small pellets, maggots, casters, anything like that will just get took on the drop. They won't even get to the bottom.
Okay, and then on the hook you got little boilies as well. Again, I'm assuming just to stay away from the smaller fish.
Yeah, and the bream in here, almost their natural food is pellets and boilies because of the amount of carp fishing that takes place. So, you'd be making it hard work if you came here with maggots and things. It's easy when you plan a trip. You've got pellets and sweet corn and stuff at home. You haven't got to worry about getting fresh bait and keeping it fresh. You can just pick up a bag of bait and go
out there. And it's a little bit cheaper, I guess, as well. So perhaps what we'll do then is, I know you've had a couple already. There's no surprise, and you're going to go and catch them more, I know. So I'll let you get on with that now, and we'll sort of watch you throughout your session, see exactly how you go about putting these fish in the back. Well, there we have it. Phil has produced again, as he always does. We've kept a few back for you to have a look at, and I'm sure, Phil, if you carried on fishing, you'd keep catching these all day, wouldn't it? Putting that bait in has kept him coming, but has done an absolute pleasure to watch you do it again, Phil, but we'll get these ones back.